Hi, gang. How are you? Welcome to Mobb Guppy, where the Guppy is the mob. We're live. We want to thank everybody who's in the chat already. We've got our buddy Lumpy Dog, hey Lumpster, in the house. We also have Chewy LTD. We have Gerald Deemer. It's like a who's who of what's going on. So, how are you guys doing tonight? I basically tonight's subject is a couple of things. Number one, I have something cool going on tomorrow. But number two, I have a couple of confessions. And hey, Salty Reef, what's up? And you know, one of the things that I continually go on is being positive and supporting the fish fam. And I've let a couple of members of the fish fam down, and we'll get into that. And it's nothing. It's not even in a bad way, but it's just I could be a better supporter of people who are doing a great job with their fish and doing some stuff. And so I want to talk about that in a moment. By the way, thanks for jumping in. Thanks for hitting like. First of all, if you guys are not a member of this Facebook group, I'm going to put the link up. I don't know about you, but I'm always looking for more aquariums. I don't have enough. I only have 10. I need 50. But I'm looking for a deal on used ones occasionally. And sometimes these people, as we all know, are delusional. Well, there is a group for that. It's called Overpriced Aquariums for Sale. And if you have not been a part of that, let me give you the link on Facebook, and you go ahead and join up because it's funny, funny, funny. Hey, Fancy Tail, what's up? Got the Salty Reef. Look at this. We got all sorts of good people here. So I don't know about you, but I'm always cruising Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. There's probably some other places I should be looking. And I am absolutely blown away by people who think they own things, that they can sell it for more than what they paid for it, or if they overpaid for it, selling it. For instance, I've been looking at a 65-gallon aquarium that they have at PetSmart, and I just haven't pulled the trigger on it. It's actually a pretty good deal when they have it on sale. I've seen it for like $250. So, hey, Rounded Rob, welcome. But I look, I'm constantly looking. If I can find a used 65, I swear to you, people want more for a used one than you can get a new one for. They are absolutely on crack. And they need to take online English YouTube classes. You're right, Chewy. I mean, some of these folks, they can't pronounce anything, and their writing is poor. And these people are delusional, absolutely delusional. I want to know what kind of drugs they're on. Just out of curiosity, if your reality's that out of whack, I want to know what you're on. Today I'm on, and they're not paying me, and they should have, and yet for whatever reason it's like backwards. It is vitamin water, 0 XXX, all sorts of good stuff. So I got into this conversation. This guy was selling, and this was during the $1 a gallon sale at Petco a few weeks back. And I don't have a Petco real close to where I am, about an hour away. And he was selling a 20 long and a 29. Well, I can go for a 20 long and I can go for a 29 high. So he's selling them for more than what they're selling them at Petco. And this guy hits me back with, is that these folks go out of their way. And I'm just going, hey, I can buy these brand new, and I gave him the price. And he goes, yeah, but if you buy them from me, you won't have to spend the money on gas. I'm going, I have a car that has great gas mileage. And I can get back and forth for, $4. So to pay like $10 more ain't worth it to me. I'll make the drive. And all of a sudden I noticed that guy in marketplaces dropped the price a couple of times. Doy, it's a used equipment. It's selling it for the price of new. It's just going out from there. Cody-san, how are you? And yeah, Fancy Kill, you're right. If you can't buy a 20-gallon used with a glass hood attached for $20, forget it. Absolutely correct. Just absolutely 100% correct. And that's sort of the deal. Hey, Luca, Ultimate Fish Keeping Show. And I'm good. We got a good group here. Great having you here. So I go in, and I frequently talk about supporting the fish fam, which I do. And I've purchased things from Sergeant Tank. I've purchased things from Super Cichlids. I've purchased things from from Aquarium Co-op. I've attempted to purchase stuff from LRB, but it hasn't happened yet. It will. But I'm going to give you two things that I've not purchased from. One's a service and one's a person. And one of them hit me up with, hey, if you're going to bring it up and you're going to fest tonight and I can't be there, plug my special. So I'll do that in a second. The idea for us that, I talk about Aquabit a bunch, but I've never purchased something from, and I feel guilty about Get Gills. I need to purchase something from Get Gills and Dan's Fish. He's a good guy. And Get Gills, they have a lot of cool stuff on there. And I cruise through it, and and for whatever reason, I'm not finding what I need to find. It has nothing to do with what's on there. They have a wide variety of really cool stuff on there. But for, we're all sort of weird geeks in this hobby. We all have things that we're sort of after. I've not found it yet. And I apologize to Get Gills for not purchasing from them. And I apologize to Dan's Fish. Dan does a great live stream, which I'm sure many of you have attended, and he's a good guy. All right. By the way, thanks for the 6 likes, everybody. Really, really cool. We have 12 people here. Thank you. The other one that I've not purchased anything from, but we've discussed it, is Michael's Fish Room. And Michael's a good guy, and he's a big fan of, he likes guppies like I do. And I've gotten sort of into the super reds. I'm going to get a couple of super reds from him when he has them available. But I'm confessing that I haven't bought from him, and I like him. I like his content. He's a good guy. It's and so that's sort of the stuff. So Michael wanted me to remind you that he has a special sale on right now at michaelsfishroom.com. You can get 6 mutt guppies for the price of 5, $25. 6 mutt guppies from Michael's Fish Room. Right now, that's going on. So there you go. I plugged it for him. She's Bubble Nest. What's up? Connor Sings. Hey, how are you? And so that's great. Great having you here. Thank you very much. And thanks, Luca at Ultimate Fish Keeping. We got 14 in. We've got 8 likes. Thank you so much for the likes. I really appreciate it. So we have a lot of people in this hobby. People who have fish tube channels, like many of us do. And the idea here is that some of us have gone out of the way to start a business around our fish hobby. And I, as a hobbyist, prefer to support those folks, and I like to support people who are involved with the hobby, who are trying to do something with it. So whenever we can go out and support Michael's Fish Room, Super Cichlids, Sergeant Tank, um, anybody who's trying to move in our hobby and make it good, I'm in business. And all right, way to go, She Bubble Nest. The entire garages should be filled with aquariums. Let's be honest here. Tell the hubby, that's the deal. Everyone else is doing it. Why can't you? And lots of and most of these people are men that take up. So why doesn't he put up some fish tanks for you? That's the deal. So so I just say, hey, Flynn, what's up? Flynn's Fish Forum is here. So, again, I've purchased from Aquarium Co-op. I've purchased from all these different places that are fish tubers, and I'll continue. Good for you, she 65 tanks. You got it. I didn't know, and so that's great. Ambist Aquatics. I bought stuff from Ambist Aquatics. I bought 5 Corridoras, and he sent me 6. It's kind of nice guy. So and you can see the video where I unbox those from him. So again, wherever I can support the fish fam, I don't spend the most money. I don't have the stuff, but I go out and I buy fish after, I go through. So, by the way, I know I've been saying this for about a year. Amica Splendens. I bought Amica Splendens this week. They're being shipped next week. I'm getting them from Greg Sage at Select Aquatics. If you've not seen his webpage, I'm going to put this up here real quick. If you have not seen his webpage and the rare fish he has and what Greg Sage does, he keeps several wild strains of live bearers. And he also has some long fin green plecos, which are really, really cool. Yeah, and Greg Sage has a YouTube channel. You're right, Chewy. And I'll tell you, I saw a video featuring his fish room, and I saw the Amica Splendens the first time, probably a little over a year ago. And I started looking into them, and I started fish crushing on them. I've got a fish crush on Amica Splendens. So 6 are coming this week. And I couldn't be more excited about the entire process. And I'll make a video for it. And it'll be our video that we do next Sunday, a week from Sunday. And so that's really, really cool. And yeah, and Greg Sage also has other good idiots that are on the CARES list, the endangered species list. The Mica splendens, they recently found a population in the wild, but it's the vast majority of them are in are in captivity. And so hopefully one day we'll be able to go through it. Mexico, if you've never traveled in Mexico, and I have been to Mexico, and by the way, this is not an exaggeration. My former wife was originally from Mexico City. So I have been to Mexico. If I've been there once, I've been there 40 times. And so I've been to Mexico a lot, and because they have not done a real good job of managing wildlife, managing natural resources, a lot of their wetlands have been depleted because of people needs and livestock needs. The other thing that's come through it is that there's a great deal of pollution in Mexico. Um, it's also a desert area, but really it comes down to just the need of water and the need of and so that's really gone out and hurt several of the native Mexican fish, especially if they're from anywhere, from around Mexico City north. And because you go south of Mexico City, a few hours south, you get to uh, Veracruz, which is kind of a rainforest, and that's a whole different ball of wax. But again, it's the other fish that's or I don't even know if it's kind of a reptile fish, oxalotls. They're considered extinct in the wild, so the only population is in captivity, and that's the next. I'll tell you what, I've become absolutely taken over by the love of plecostomuses. And I was watching our buddy Tom at TM Aquatics, and he had gotten a new type of pleco. I can't remember what the number was, but let me just tell you, I looked at that and I'm going, oh, I'm in love. So it's you know, when I move into a house, when I buy a house in about 8 months, I'll be setting up some pleco tanks going from there. So my confession is I need to buy more from fish tube type stuff. I will say this is that I the two greatest evils in the world of anybody who's a fish owner and a member of the fish fam, and I bet you every one of you will agree with me on this, is that eBay and Amazon Prime. eBay, you can go through there and just go, okay, well, do they have something like this? Oh, it's $8. Click. And whoa, $5. Click. And you can $5 and $10 yourself to death if you're not careful. So it's my latest thing that, and God, it's just I'm turning into a fish room hoarder. By the way, my fish room companion Bolo's here. You want to see Bolo, everybody? Let me point this down so you can see him. Let me push this back. There you go. There's Bolo. So yeah, he's hanging around. He's chilling. And so so I've been looking lately because I've been doing the forks with the cucumber and zucchini for my plecos. I'm giving them a couple of days off here because I think that I was ODing it a little bit. And I also have freshwater shrimp. Oh my! I have a fish auction with one of the fish clubs I'm a member of, and and well, I appreciate it, Chewy. Um, I'm just going to tell you something. I go in and I'm using the fork thing, and I'm going, well, what about a vegetable clip? So I see what I see all the different things that go on with that. I'm going, oh, that's nice. Then I saw TM Aquatics do something with model airplane axles. That's what he does for his fresh veggies because they have weight to them and they're cheap. Well, if you're going to put vegetables in your aquarium for the plecos to eat, That's two things. Um, hey, Melvin's here. Good times. Hey, Haley. Oddball Aquatics here. We've been talking about, by the way, how I have not purchased stuff from LRB Aquatics, Michael's Fish Room, and get gills, and I feel guilty. It's my confession because these are all really cool things. I'm always looking at these different websites, looking for cool stuff to get for the fish room, and I'm guessing you guys do as well. So it's all good. Hey, by the way, I have a bunch of people here who have not been featured on Meet a Fish Tuber. Reach out to me on my page. If you click on About, there's for business inquiries. It says my email address. It's a click on the email on this thing to get my email address. Please do get a hold of me. I'll get you the deal. I want to feature you. So it's so Haley's got eggs in the fish room. That's good. And so that's a real positive thing. So it's my guppies, and I'll be doing a video coming up with there. I bought a trio from Alan Bias, and if you're an IFGA person, International Fancy Guppy Association person, he's sort of the swordtail guy, and I'm not exaggerating. He is the guy. And so I ordered a trio, and he sent me an extra pair of a different line of swords. So I've got 2 tanks now with swords, and I've got my first round of babies. And so that's good. Well, I understand, Chewy. Get Susan permission, go from there. And Tampa Tom, he's in the house. What's up? It's wow, 15 people in the live stream. 11 thumbs up. Thank you so much for the thumbs up. I really appreciate that. Very, very helpful. And so that's the good thing. So it's sort of looking at looking at the chat. We've got a good group of people here. Connor Sings. If you're not subscribed to each other, please do so. I don't care. My job here is to help facilitate growing the fish fam. All I care about is growing the hobby. And so that's why I want to spend money with Lucas at LRB Aquatics. So I spend money with Michael's Fish Room and with Dan at Dan's Fish, get gills. So I'm looking carefully and go on from there. Not Nola Jane, Fish Rich. Hey, welcome. So it's so that's sort of where I'm at. I've got I'm in the process right now of I've got to do my water changes, I guess, tomorrow during football, because I didn't get them done today. I guess I could do them after the live stream, but there's football on. It's Georgia and Notre Dame, which is going to be a heck of a game. And I don't have a dog in that fight, but I just I think whoever wins that game could be the next national champions. I'll just say that. So I've got to get my fit. I was down. I was really low. How I do my water changes, and I'll do a video on this because it's, again, goofy. And some of you are just going to sit there and go, really? That's how he does it? I have a 45-pound garbage pail with a lid. I fill it up with water. I do the treatment, and I allow it to sit for a few days. Now, some people go out and they run bubblers in them and all that sort of stuff. I don't do that. Just let it sit there. let it age out, and then I have, I take out water and add water to it. It's all good. And a lot of the people with fancy guppies and more quote unquote sensitive fish, they actually make sure the water's at the same temperature when it goes in. Do any of you guys do that? Do you go through? Um, do you go through that and heat your water to what your aquariums are? Now, I'm just going to tell you, I appreciate those people who keep their fish room at 80 degrees. That's not me. I'll pay the extra $5 a month for heaters. I'm more than happy. I was at a guy's house for a fish club meeting in Nashville, probably about 8 months ago, and this guy had a separate room that he built for his fish. That it's instead of a she shed, it was a fish shed. And what he did, and it had to be expensive as hell. I don't know why he thought he was saving money, but I didn't argue with him as he's giving us a tour. Fishy Biz Aquatics, how are you? Welcome. So he was going in talking about, Chewy, I am going to register my Amicus Plans with my aquarium club and cares. And yeah, I'm a member of the ALA, so I'll let Leslie Dick know that I have them when they get into the building, and go from there. So what was I discussing? Hold on. Oh, yeah. So this guy was telling everybody that his electric bill was like $400 a month in the winter. It was like similar in the summer. Okay, he lived in a home that was a nice house, not too big, probably about, if I had to guess, 1,700 square feet. The fish shed was, it wasn't that, it was probably, when everything is said and done, 400 square feet at the most. It was a nice size. It was loaded up with aquariums. Very cool to see. He didn't have a spot of algae in anything. Anything. Was incredible, and he had some high-end angelfish and some unusual varieties of angelfish. Very cool to see. All right. And okay, Lumpy Dog heats his water in a 55-gallon Rubbermaid root trash can. And again, Lumpy, it's all about how you feel. If you feel safe about it, that's the deal. A lot of this stuff I learned from people. I just go through and learn from them and go from there. Hey, Pam, 54 Punchy is here. So it's thank you for joining the live stream. The process of of this is I'm going, okay, this guy probably had natural gas to his house, but he did not have natural gas put into his fish shed. The fish shed was using a large space heater, which had to be, I mean, this was like a giant one. This thing was probably about 4 feet high, and that had to be $200 a month of it. I mean, tell me some 100-watt, 300-watt heaters in his fish room could not have used more power than that. It just really couldn't, because they don't run that often. They just go in from there. And he had his fish room, nice toasty, 80 degrees. And I'm just going, in fact, we were spending a lot of time at this fish club meeting. And I kept in my head just going, man, and it was winter. It was it was like February, March, somewhere in there. So it was like 40 degrees out in Nashville. And I just kept saying to myself, well, why do I should have worn a short sleeve shirt? I mean, it was hot in there. So there you go. So that's it if you do like what Michael's Fish Room did with with a gas heater there in his basement, makes all the sense in the world. Natural gas. I think those electric space heaters are just they're cash suckers, even worse than aquarium heaters. And quite frankly, I've never spent that much on and again, I don't have 75 tanks. Maybe it begins to change, but I have it just isn't that much of a difference. So, hey Kendall, how are you, buddy? I really appreciate you being here. Appreciate everybody being here. 12 likes, just amazing. Freaking amazing. Get a sip of my vitamin water. So let me know if you guys want to see Bolo some more. I'll put him on because he's better looking than I am. And he's just laying out here in my lap. And, RO water, by the way, makes a whole lot of sense. If all of a sudden I got into, breeding fish that desired and demanded a low pH, okay, let's say so, like plecos, if I get into those. And it's easy enough to raise pH, using crushed coral and things like that, putting that in the aquarium. When I lived in Little Rock, which had very acidic water, I put crushed coral in my aquariums, and I went from like a 6.2 to a 7.5, which is perfect for guppies. Guppies are perfect with that, so it's all good. But if all of a sudden I got into like discus, how many aquariums would I end up having if I got into discus? Guppies are something else, but the discus people, anybody who keeps that has my utmost respect. Those are amazingly beautiful fish. And you get those suckers to breed and you develop things around it. Wow. Talk about absolutely gorgeous. There was, by the way, let me see if I can go to Aquabid and see if I can find this. There was ATFG had a new variety of guppies up on their page. So I'm looking at Aquabid real quick, and I'll put the link up. And let's see here. Let's see. Oh yeah, here we go. And he has some, or she, or the ATFG Illuminati in Asia. They have some amazing, an amazing new variety of fish. That was not it. And let me tell you, I saw this thing, and is this it? Oh, yeah. Take a look at this. If you want to see a variety of guppies to lust after, there you go. I looked at those going, and you see, and I already have. I can't go for another line of guppies right now because I have one coming, and then I'm going to play with it. Yeah, Tampa Tom, it's guppies, and from ATFG, which is one of the big Asian breeders. Hey, Dan, how are you? Dan's Fish is here. I already confessed, Dan, that I've not purchased anything from Get Gills, and I feel terrible for it and low for it. I feel awful because I've purchased stuff from all sorts of different. I haven't purchased anything from Lucas either. I need to do that. Um, I'll just tell you, I'm just all in on getting stuff. So it's in getting stuff for the fish room and supporting the fish fam. Sort of what I do. So yeah, so I don't know about this whole doing the thing now. The Amica Splendens I'm getting, you don't need a heater for Amica Splendens. In fact, they like it around below 75. Let me just tell you something. Not going to be a problem in my place. The only question I have about Amicas, and I probably need to ask Greg Sage this, is that if I go out of town for a few days, for instance, if I lower the temp in my place to 60 in the winter, um, would that harm the Amica Splendens? Because obviously it's a 30-gallon aquarium. It would take days for it to get down to 60. And when I got home and, raised it up to 68, it would take a day or two to get back up there. In nature, there is natural flow and change in the water temperature. And by the way, this is the other reason. Mika, not pizza, Amika. Hey, D, down the wormhole. How are you? Great having you in the stream. And watching today. 15 likes, gang. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's very, very cool. I really appreciate it. So we're going through, and Dan at Dan's Fish, he probably can weigh in on this a little bit. We're talking about, I store water, I treat it, I allow it to stay in my 45-gallon Rubbermaid garbage pail for for a few days before I add it to anything. It's at room temperature. And by the way, if you have an 80-gallon aquarium and you're putting in 73-degree water or 70-degree water, what do you think happens in the wild when there's rain? Rain is never the same temperature as what goes into the pools or the streams or the rivers, wherever these fish are located. It's always different. So we go out, we pull a couple of gallons out, then we add new water in, or fresh water. And that's sort of what happens in the wild. They get a lot of rain. There's a little bit of runoff. Going from there. Okay, Fancy Tail Aquatics doesn't use a heater in his garbage can on wheels. Cooler water is just fine. Yeah, I agree with that. But again, I'm not criticizing anyone who does anything differently than I do because they may be doing something better. And by the way, the can on wheels, that's what I have. It doesn't roll if you have 40 gallons of water. I tried to move mine over and I'm going, I thought this would be easier. Not so much. Not so much. And so that's sort of the deal that goes on from there. I've been getting my fish food in for the Amica Splendens. I'm all set up. V-Stag, what's up, Victor? Welcome to the live stream. And again, good group here tonight. I really appreciate Dr. Black. Hey, great having you here. The Aussies are in the house. Love me the Aussies. When I lived in New York City, I lived just outside New York City, Hackensack, New Jersey, for about 7 years. And Yeah, Dan, I'm glad you brought that up. Fish do experience large temperature variations by swimming at different depths of the water column. Middle of the stream, pond, ditch is a lot cooler than the shallows. Exactly correct. Exactly correct. So the process. So I lived. I got to. There was a guy named Simon who I got to hang out with, who's sort of an internet entrepreneur. In he lives in Harlem, and right on the Harlem Manhattan line, he has a two-story condo on top of a building. Just the Aussies are great. One of my high school buddies, she married an Aussie. She went to college, grad school in Europe, and she met a guy who's now provost at the University of Sydney, I think. So it's so that's uh, I've spent a lot of time around the Aussies, and they're great. They're fun. It's Americans could learn a little bit from the Aussies. Um, and so the process of again doing the water changes and I try to do water changes every week. I know some of the guppy people, the hardcore IFGA people, they're changing it every day. They're changing, and it's and I probably should do it a few times a week, but I do it once a week. And I'll change out tomorrow my 10-gallon tanks. I'll take 3 gallons out of each one and then put fresh water in. And on my 55, I'll take out about 8 gallons, and that'll be all set, and do that. So it's all good. Hey, is Jeff Rose? Is he doing his live stream tonight? He hasn't been doing his live stream. If he's doing it tonight, I want to be somebody who is very much paying attention to that. Let's see here. I did not get a notice earlier, so I know he's been sort of taking time away from the live streams, and so no, he has not put out a notice. So that's it's he's the best. I love his live streams, by the way, Jeff Rose, and I really appreciate them. So hopefully he will be back to doing live streams now that that the kids are back in school and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, I'll tell you, I've purchased fish from Stephen Quartler, as one of the IFGA master breeders. This guy is like, you watch him do maintenance in his fish room. He is a machine. He's running like 10, 12 lines of guppies, multiple tanks per line. He's changing water constantly. This guy, he's doing several hatches of baby brine shrimp a day. I mean, in fact, I don't even think he feeds his fish anything but baby brine shrimp. I feed my fish in the nano tanks and also the guppy tanks baby brine shrimp. The guppies get it once a day. Today I gave them a day off today, but they get it once a day, and it's yeah, you're right. You're right, Chewy. Stephen Quartler is also on YouTube. He championship show guppies. He's he's really a nice guy. I bought a line of guppies from when I was in Little Rock, and I may buy another line from. I enjoyed working with the half black purples, but I decided I wanted something a little more bright colored, and so I'm getting the Roebuck Reds from our buddy uh, uh, Doug and Doug Gray, and so I'm waiting for him to let me know when they're ready, and I'll send him the money and get the fish right in the house. So The other little notice that to pay attention to, as we go through and do the looking into how people do things, what makes our hobby so much fun, and how we can support each other, and how we can go through. I've been sort of playing around, getting uh, unique things to to sell, things that nobody else wants, or has, I should say. No one else wants. God, I hope not. But I'll tell you a story. I found out about zip up media bags from on a YouTube channel from our buddy Lucas Bretz. And Lucas, let me take a look here, Pam. Let's see if that's the right one here. I'm gonna open up a different deal because I don't want to blow up my own live stream. So hold on a second here. And let's see if that's who this is. Yep, that's who it is. Thanks, Pam. That's exactly who it is. And he is a great guy. Subscribe to him. He doesn't put out content on a regular basis. He usually puts out once or twice a month, and you'll see how he does everything. And he he's somebody that we all can learn from, and we can all aspire to. So that's the real important thing, when you have people that you can aspire to be like in this hobby. And that's one of the things I really, really appreciate. And yeah, Doug Gray's on YouTube as well. And he's and his videos, he does. The neat thing about Doug Gray, that for a Guppy fan, this is one of the reasons why you want to go to his channel and set up with it, is that, and by the way, Pam, if you want to put that link up to his channel, Doug Gray's channel, Gray D, Grey space D, or if somebody would, that'd be great. Please, please, please. Thank you. Is that he plays around with crosses. And so he comes up, he goes, what if I bred this to this? And sometimes he doesn't get a lot out of it, and sometimes he gets something kind of cool out of it. So, and I think everybody who owns guppies, that's breeding them halfway seriously, wants to come up with the idea of their own line. Like, Doug keeps Roebuck Reds, named after Luke Roebuck, who developed that line. And he also has some Stan Schubel fish. And Stan Schubel, by the way, for folks who are not into the guppy sort of deal, if there's a godfather of guppy keeping in the United States, it is that man. Total Aquatics and Doug White. Yeah, I don't know him, but I should figure out. And he's a Canadian Association of Aquarium Club speaker. Hey, thanks for putting that up, Pam. I really appreciate it. So the process of what Doug does is that he'll do these crosses, and then he goes through, and one of the things he tries to do with these crosses, which I think is really a good line of thinking, is I think he actually has, when he does the cross, has a goal in mind. And that's sort of the deal when you do a cross, whatever cross it is. You've got to have that goal in mind. and make that goal what you're after. So if you're breeding two different fish together and you want certain traits, you want, for instance, you want all purple Moscow swordtail guppies, and your first cross, you don't quite get it, but you're sort of close. Just allowing that to grow and go in and go for that, that those desired traits, and try to figure that out. And sometimes you just want to cross something just to see what the heck you get. And then if you get something really cool, then go out from that. Yeah, I've seen Lucas's, albino galaxies. They're terrific. Really, really cool. Melvin, I'm glad you follow Doug Gray. He's great, and Stephen Quartler is another one to follow, because it's you can learn so much from both of those guys, and so that's sort of the deal. By the way, here's it's been about 20 minutes since I showed Bolo, so here we go. Let me push this back. Bolo is, oh, come on, Bolo. Pushed it back and my cell phone fell. Okay, come on. Hey, look right up there. Yeah. You good boy? Yeah. Move my cell phone over here. Okay, lay down. Okay, so that's Bolo. And let's see here. Yeah, I don't know Doug White, Chewy. I'm gonna have to find him out and go from there and learn that. Hey, lay down. So my little guy here, I woke him up. Yeah, so but the idea of doing those crosses, and a lot of people have that same desire with platies or with mollies, or with and yeah, 54 Punchy is an angel, and that's a good thing. Okay, hold on, he wants to get down. So that's that's sort of the deal, is coming up with your own sort of if you breed fish, you sort of want to come up with your own little deal there, and then having people who respect it and breed upon it, is really, really a good idea. Is really, really, that's like the ultimate compliment. And a lot of the guys in Asia, uh, I have utmost respect for what they do with bettas and what they do with guppies, and I look at what they do with the colors, what they do with the strains, what they do with I have great. I've not brought in fish internationally yet. I'm guessing that will happen, and but the process of bringing in those, watching these people and how they do these things, how they get these colors, how they get them to, I look at ATFG, he keeps coming up with a better red albino, full red albinos over and over again. Hey, Dan, thank you so much for coming. Enjoy dinner. I hope it's pork chop night. I, of course, had, oh God, you don't even know what I had. It would gross you out, but it's delicious. By the way, have you had, anybody had the Impossible Whopper? The Impossible Whopper is pretty good. I've had that a couple of times. It's delicious. Oh man. Yeah, Rounded Rob, there's a lot of great content on FishTube. There's so many people who have so many great things to say that you can learn from. And I've learned from so many people, and I pick up something somewhere. And for instance, I was using API water conditioner. Well, I bought Seachem. Why? It's a lot of the people I respect use Seachem, and so I figured, well, why not? And by the way, I'm Norwegian, Rounded Rob, and I do not have canned herring. I have bristling sardines, King Oscar, packed in olive oil. But if you really, sort of the entry level to that thing is King Oscar. By the way, it's not a cheap sardine. It's like $3 a can. But it's Norwegian. It's from Norway, and my people, the Norwegians, a lot of our food you can't eat. If you know what lutefisk is cured, gelatinized fish that smells like turpentine. And that is not an exaggeration. There's a reason why there are not Swedish or Norwegian restaurants in every corner. It ain't the Mexicans, ain't the Asians, the Greeks. Greeks pretty good with food. Italians, German food, French food, delicious. Brits, oh yeah, James Alderson, yeah, he's one of the big guys in the IFGA. Absolutely right, Chewy. He's one of the real good guys. And let's see what we were talking about. I didn't even get the beginning of the food conversation here. I don't see. I'll have to catch up with it later on. Yeah, lutefisk is terrible. Swedish sausage, which actually is pretty good, is gray. Like this shirt gray, like that gray right there. It's that gray. Thank you very much, Haley. Appreciate you coming. Have a good night. So when you're dealing with the Swedes and the Norwegians, lefsa's pretty good, which is sort of like a tortilla. And they lather it in butter and sugar, and they roll it up like a cigar. Or if you live in Colorado, a blunt. And they roll it up like that, and then you stick it in the. You go and you chew on it, and you just take bites off of it. It's really delicious. Thirsty Rabbit, what's up? More Aussies. More Aussies, the better. Thanks for coming. And yeah, I'm just watching all the stuff that goes through. Yeah, so Swedish meatballs, much more common. You see much more of that, because they serve it. Lean Cuisine makes one, and it's not bad. Swedish meatballs are not bad. It's pretty much everything else. The left's the lutefisk, yeah, is real bad. The sardines. My Alexa just started to talk to me. I have no idea why that happened. So the process, by the way, speaking of the Australians, I lived near a restaurant that did exotic meats when I lived in South Carolina. And I had kangaroo. They served kangaroo. And it was a little chewy. And they marinated the meat, and they cut it up into chunks. They cooked it in the chunks, marinated in it. It was really good. It was nice tasting meat. Emu's good. Ostrich is good. Emu, I think, is a delicacy in Australia. In Australia, you could eat rabbit pretty much every day. Ah, that's right, 54 punchy, paper thin potato, and it's great. It's I've had rabbit. It's delicious. It's my mom would we would get rabbit when I was a kid, and my mom would Hassenpfeffer it. Thanks, Rounded Rob. Enjoy dinner. Hope you're having Hassenpfeffer or kangaroo. Don't have lutefisk, no matter what they say. Yeah, Dr. Black, it is. Roux is very tasty, and it's it's all good. I really enjoy you know I enjoy the other meat that's really good, and it's a meat in the United States that if you're around hunters and stuff like that, you can get occasionally if they go hunting for them. Moose. Properly prepared moose meat is delicious. I really like it. I've never had caribou. I've had bear, or as they call them, rug steaks. So it's let's get off the food topic. So so the Amica Splendens show up Thursday. He's overnighting them on Wednesday. Greg Sage is overnighting them on Wednesday. And Dee has Amica Splendens, so she'll be pumped up about that. So they're finally all right, good cooking. So the Amica Splendens arrive. I've got plenty of food for them. I got some kelp flakes, and so I also have some different types of algae wafers, and I serve cucumber to my plecos occasionally. So yeah, I'm all good with that. All good. And so that's the fun in right from there. Well, gang, it has been an hour, and I think I have a little buddy that wants to go for another walk. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to go out and buy from Dan's Fish, Michael's Fish Room, LR Brett's, Super Cichlids. Let's support the fish fam. Flip Aquatics. It's now that I have the shrimp bug, I'll have to, cruise Flip Aquatics site looking for those things. So again, thank you guys so much for being here. And Aussie buddies, you guys having your live stream at in another hour, about an hour from now? Is that going on? Hey, thanks, Ambus. Love watching Dr. Black Thirsty Rabbit and Aquamate. Good people. And again, anybody here who wants to be a part of Meet a Fish Tuber, mob.guppy@gmail.com, mob.guppy@gmail.com. Hey, what's up, Scott? Yeah, we're just wrapping it up. Thank you so much for being by. How was the Keystone Clash? You have to be just exhausted enjoying all that stuff. So I'm really happy that you're able to stop by and say hi. So it's all good. Well, I look forward to Scott's live stream tomorrow, and also Dee's live stream. Dee's live stream's at 11, and make sure you see Down the Wormhole 11 o'clock Central Time, noon Eastern. Football season, go Vikings. Vikings take on the Oakland Raiders. Raiders are not that good. So hopefully the Vikings can win. If the Vikings lose this game, fire them all. All right, gang. Thank you guys very much. Talk to you soon.